Eldenwood had stories carved into its stones and silence stitched between its roofs. For generations, the village had trusted a battered map and an old ritual that pointed them each autumn to the places of harvest, ceremony, and grief. The map no longer fit in the world it once guided. Its lines were frayed, and its ink had learned to lie. Arguments broke out over market stalls and by the well. People blamed each other, and every path became a proof of stubbornness rather than a window for dialogue. Elias lived in the house of his grandfather, the last of the map keepers. The old man fed him bread and old tales, and he told Elias of the lantern of truth. Not a lantern that made shadows disappear, the old man said, but one that glowed when spoken words matched the heart's intention. Folklore said the lantern had been hidden in the forest long ago, and the villagers stopped believing it when maps and ceremonies became convenient tools for staying the same. When the harvest ritual failed, and the village turned on itself, Elias took the small map his grandfather gave him and slipped beyond the lanes. He walked where children dared not at dusk, where foxes had learned moon tongues and the trees remembered other names. For 3 days, he followed signs in the wind, an overturned stone, an old ring of ash, a carved notch shaped like a question. At the edge of a thicket, under a low bough, he found a shallow pit of black earth and the small brass lantern inside. It was dull at first, the glass cloudy with years. He lifted it. Nothing. He tried to light it with flint. Smoke answered, then silence. Frustration rose like a tide. A fox watched from the shadows. Elias remembered his grandfather's last words. The lantern does not reveal what you hope it will. It reveals what you will admit. So Elias did something simple and dangerous. He admitted aloud the things he had kept small and useful. The way he'd stolen a pear as a child, how he pretended not to see 2 neighbors fighting, how once he lied to save his own pride. When the words left him with shaking honesty, the lantern breathed a warm glow. It shone not only on his face, but on the page of the map he had folded into his pocket. The map's ink did not change lines. Instead, new lines formed in the margins, small notations asking why a path existed and who it served. Elias returned not with the lantern as proof, but with questions. He refused to display the lantern as a miracle. Instead, he gathered people, and instead of reading the map aloud, he read reasons. This line takes us to the well, because that is where we shared bread. That place used to be for learning. Why did we stop? The villagers listened, then argued, then listened again. The lantern's glow faded while conversation brightened. In months that followed, Eldenwood folded and refolded its map, not into a fixed route, but into choices that could be explained. Paths remained, but every path had a reason pinned to it like a small scrap of honest paper. People began to ask, "Why do we do this?" and to answer it aloud. The ritual was no longer blind tradition. It had become a slow, shared decision. Elias grew into a messenger of small truths. The lantern was passed from hand to hand, and each time it glowed, it served as a reminder. Truth is less a light that reveals others than a light that reveals yourself.